I am stuck in a cramped closet with my ultimate rival, Cameron Davis. Her stupid, ridiculously fit body is taking up way too much of my space. We're supposed to be playing 7 Minutes in Heaven. You know, that cringe game from every awful 2000s movie where two people get locked in a dark room to make out. Right now, I am just mentally planning how to ruin her social life. That is, until she opens her mouth and says something so infuriating, I decide to shut it for her. It all started 10 minutes ago when my sorority sister Taylor suggested playing a retro game for our 2000s nostalgic theme party. "Do it, do it, do it," the crowd chanted. Taylor bounced on her heels, pointing a glowing neon wand at me and Cam. "You guys would be so cute. Latina mommy and her soccer babe." I crossed my arms, glaring at her. "I am not participating in this cringe garbage, Taylor. Pick someone else." "I'd rather eat glass than be stuck with her," Cam snapped, looking equally disgusted. "You have to do it!" Taylor, my kind and, gosh, totally not annoying at all sorority sister, shrieked. "The bottle has spoken! Don't ruin my party!" Before I could argue that I made the rules, a dozen hands shoved us forward. The closet door slammed shut behind us, the lock clicking into place, sealing us in the dark. Great. Trapped with the Ice Queen. Try not to freeze the oxygen in here, Victoria. If you hyperventilate without your daddy black card, I don't know CPR. My jaw clenched so hard my teeth ached. Just keep your mouth shut for 7 minutes, Davis. It shouldn't be that hard. Don't order me. You're so desperate to be in control, it's pathetic. Take the stick out of your butt and just... I didn't think. I just reacted. My hand shot out in the dark, my fingers twisting into the collar of her jersey. I shoved her backward until her spine hit the wooden door, slamming my other hand flat against the wood right beside her head. Shut up. Then I crashed my mouth onto hers. It was supposed to be a punishment, a pure power move. But the moment our lips collided, all my smug superiority dissolved. My stomach dropped. A heavy, dizzying warmth rushed to my head, and suddenly I couldn't remember why I was supposed to hate her. She tasted like mint and strawberry lip gloss. Instead of fighting back, she melted. The soccer captain let out a soft, breathless gasp, her knees giving out. Her hands scrambled to grip my waist like I was the only thing keeping her upright. I meant to pull back, to glare and walk away, but my traitorous body leaned in closer, deepening the kiss, chasing that sudden spark. "Time's up, losers!" Taylor shrieked from the hallway. The doorknob rattled. We shoved each other apart a split second before the door swung open, blinding us with neon lights. I scrubbed the back of my hand over my mouth and hit her with a glare, praying she couldn't see my hands shaking. "You both came out of the closet!" "Shut up, Taylor!" We screamed at her, in sync about something for the very first time. I walked out of that party swearing to take the memory of her taste to my grave. It shouldn't be this hard to erase Cameron Davis from my brain when we are engineered to be enemies. I rule Kappa Delta, a fortress of trust funds and guaranteed power in the elite circles. She leads Zeta Mu, a tragic collection of self-righteous athletes. I've despised her since freshman year, the first time I watched her on the pitch, laughing effortlessly as her teammates cheered for her. People genuinely liked Cam. They only feared me. And Cam always stared back at me with a pure, unadulterated hostility, like I was a blood-feud rival from a past life. 3 days later, the denial is suffocating. I am snapping at my sisters, while Cam turns the practice field into a war zone. We pretend the closet never happened, but the campus feels unbearably small. We collide in the cafeteria, the hallway, a split second of locked eyes and shared panic before dodging. I hate her, but no matter how hard I scrub, I still feel her breath against my mouth. That lingering ghost of a touch is exactly why my chest tightens the second I see Chris cornering her by the VIP lounge. Chris is the president of Alpha Psi, the apex of frat boy mediocrity, and his hand is currently sliding low on Cam's waist as he leans in to murmur something sleazy. A sharp fury spikes through my veins. Chris. I let my voice drop to a freezing, bored drawl as I step between them. Alpha Psi is already on probation for the homecoming disaster. Do you really want to add public scandal to the dean's desk? Or are you just eager to lose your charter? Walk away. He scoffs, dropping his hand, and slinks off to bother someone else. Cam crosses her arms, shooting me a glare. If you're hoarding the frat boy gene pool for yourself, Victoria, just say it. You don't have to bark at him to mark your territory. I don't want him. Oh, she thinks I care about some generic trust fund carbon copy with a single brain cell. Please, Davis. I am just protecting the university's elite image. We can't have our star athlete catching whatever disease he's carrying. I walk away before she catches my hands curling into fists. She can believe I'm petty over Chris. It's a convenient lie to hide the fact that seeing his hand on her waist made me want to snap his wrist.
Rush Week officially begins. The ultimate prize this year is Mia. She is a legacy baby with a trust fund large enough to buy a small island, which makes her prime Kappa Delta property. But she's also a prodigy striker with a lethal kick, making her the holy grail for Zeta Mu. Cam and I drop the silent treatment and go to war. We trade calculated blows all week, throwing exclusive galas and sabotaging each other's recruitment events just to win Mia's allegiance. The hostility peaks right in the middle of ZM's practice. I stride onto the field, treating the synthetic turf like a personal runway. I stop near the drills, catching Mia's eye with a smile of pure pity. Mia, darling, are you really risking a yellow jacket situation? We all know what happens when a girls' soccer team spends too much time together. Cam sees red. She drops her clipboard and marches up to me. But I don't back away. I step right into her strike zone. My hand shoots out, knocking the soccer ball from her grip, while my other arm snakes out and locks firmly around her waist. I yank her flush against me. To the crowd, it looks like two rival alphas ready to draw blood. But in the microscopic space between us, my lips brush the shell of her ear. Careful, Captain. You're panting. Keep looking at me like that, and people might realize you don't actually hate me. A furious blush burns down her neck. She tries to shove my shoulder, but my grip tightens just enough to make her breath hitch. Her knees betray her, buckling for a fraction of a second, and she bites her lower lip to trap a gasp. I hold her there, watching her drown in that helpless flush, before dropping my hand and walking off the field with a perfect smirk. That perfect smirk shatters exactly 48 hours later when Mia defects. I only ask the pledges to sort organic caviar by shade of black while holding a 5-minute plank in stilettos. Standard character building stuff. But Mia cracked. She called my methods psychotic and ran straight into the waiting arms of Zeta Mu. My chest burns. No one rejects a Kappa Delta legacy bid for a house that uses folding chairs as living room furniture. If Cam wants to steal my prize, she can deal with my wrath. The second the Zeta Mu girls leave for their pathetic victory dinner at some greasy pizza joint, I unleash the Kappa Delta treasury. We pick the lock to their frat-light mansion and take over. I hired an event crew to transform their hideous living room and overgrown backyard into a high-end Waikiki beach club. We truck in tons of imported white sand, install a massive fake erupting lava volcano right over their sad little patio. I am lounging on a velvet sunbed right in the middle of Cam's living room, sipping a Mai Tai out of a freshly cracked coconut, just waiting for the front door to swing open so I can watch her head explode. And explode it does. Her jaw unhinging the second she takes in the neon-drenched Waikiki madness and the hundreds of bodies grinding in her house. The DJ cuts the bass just as Taylor grabs the microphone. Time for the volcano sacrifice! Bring forth the virgin! She points straight at the Zeta Mu captain. The crowd erupts, chanting Cam's name. I take a slow sip of my drink, flashing Cam my most condescending smile. That is the match in the powder barrel. Cam's eyes go dark. She storms through the sea of bodies, grabs my wrist in a bruising grip, and hauls me down the hallway. She shoves me into a dark bedroom and slams the lock, trapping us in the heavy quiet. Through the thin wood, I can hear the muffled worries of Mia and Taylor. "Should we call security?" Mia gasps. "They are going to tear each other apart," Taylor whimpers. "You think this is funny, Victoria?" Cam snarls, shoving me backward until my back hits the door. Her chest heaves, radiating a suffocating heat. I tilt my chin up, refusing to flinch. "Are you going to cry about it?" "I am going to show you exactly how much of a virgin I am not." Her mouth crashes down on mine. It is a punishing, reckless kiss, meant to be a weapon. But the second her lips move against mine, a scorching heat rushes to my cheeks. My rigid composure shatters. My hands tremble against her chest, and I let out an awkward gasp, stiffening like a wooden board instead of fighting back. Cam pulls away just a fraction. Her dark eyes scan my flushed, wide-eyed. A wicked realization dawns on her face. "Oh my God, it's you! The Ice Queen is the virgin!" "Shut up!" I grab her collar and pull her back down. The tension snaps. We crash together, and this time, there is no holding back. Cam yanks my hands away, pulling back with her chest heaving and a devilish grin on her swollen lips. Not so fast. Before I can process the rejection, she unlocks the door and yanks it open, dragging my dizzy self back into the blinding living room. The party falls dead silent, hundreds of eyes staring at my smeared lipstick and trembling hands. Cam hauls me straight to the edge of the patio, right in front of the bubbling red water of the fake volcano. "Here's your sacrifice." Cam shoves my shoulders, and I tip backward, plunging straight into the glowing red water of the fake lava pool. Splash! The collective shock is deafening. My pride drowns in the fake red lava long before I even breach the surface. But the real nightmare hits 20 minutes later when Cam and I catch Taylor and Mia sneaking kisses behind the DJ booth. The fallout is brutal. We drag our respective sisters apart, screaming strict bans on any cross-house fraternization. "Trust me, Taylor, the rules exist for a reason. You do not cross enemy lines." But I know I am a massive, pathetic hypocrite. I am lecturing her about strict boundaries while my own lips still throb from Cam's teeth. I am trying to build a fortress, aware that I am already losing the war against my own heart. That fragile lie holds up for exactly 2 weeks. It dies the second the final buzzer echoes across the stadium, cementing Zeta Mu's humiliating defeat. From the bleachers, my chest tightens as I watch Cam slam her fist into the turf. She missed the final shot. She took a brutal fall, clutching her left forearm as the referee called the game. I should be gloating. Instead, a sickening wave forces me out of my seat and down the concrete steps. The locker room is empty by the time I push the heavy metal door open. The rest of her team has already slinked off to mourn. Cam is sitting on a bench, her jersey stained with mud, aggressively ripping the athletic tape off her scraped wrist with her teeth. "You play like an amateur. I'm drafting an email to the dean tonight. It is a crime to waste university funding on a team that trips over its own feet when KD could use a new marble fountain." Cam's head snaps up. Her dark eyes are lethal. "Get out." She crowd my space until I can smell the rain and dirt clinging to her skin. "Or what? Are you going to choke on the field again?" Her uninjured hand grips my collar, shoving me hard against the metal lockers. The crash echoes through the damp room. She leans in, her chest heaving against mine, eyes blazing with unchecked rage. I said, "Get out."
I am not playing your stupid games today. She thinks she has the upper hand. She thinks she is the predator.
I don't even think. I grab her wrists. In one swift, fluid motion, I twist my hips and slam her back against the cold metal. The heavy lockers rattle. Before she can even process the shift in gravity, I shove both of her hands high above her head, pinning her wrists flat against the steel. You talk too much, I breathe. Then I devour her. All the ice, all the calculated distance, it shatters. I crush my mouth against hers, kissing her. She tenses, letting out a shocked gasp, but I don't give her a second to pull away. My hands ghost down her arms, my fingers wrapping carefully above her scraped wrist, terrified of pressing too hard and causing her more pain. The fierce, feral captain of Zeta Mu breaks. She sags against the lockers, her uninjured hand gripping my blazer like it's the only thing keeping her upright. I pull back just a fraction, my chest heaving, my forehead dropping against hers. My eyes dart down to her bruised skin. Your wrist. Tell Lee you didn't break it. She lets out a shaky exhale, her dark eyes fluttering open, dazed. Why do you care? I just do, Cam. My thumb lightly brushes her knuckles, my heart still hammering against my ribs. Does it hurt? A smile touches her lips, and when she leans her weight fully against me, I know the fight is finally out of us. I finally stop trying to fight the fall, trading our public war for a secret arrangement behind locked doors. For the past month, we have been a messy blur of stolen moments. We sneak into each other's sorority houses like thieves. Taylor keeps giving me suspicious, sideways glares during chapter meetings, while Mia constantly interrogates Cam about her sudden disappearances after soccer practice. Our sisters can sense a crack in our mutual hatred, but they would never guess the truth. They would never guess that the Ice Queen is letting the Zeta Mu captain ruin her lipstick twice a week. The paranoia of getting caught peaks the night I drag Cam back to my family's estate off campus. The mansion is massive, cold, and drowning in empty, echoing space. It is a lonely monument to my parents' wealth. Cam wanders into my bedroom, ignoring the pristine silk sheets to inspect a photo on my vanity. It is an old picture of me at 7, missing a front tooth, smiling a genuine, unfiltered smile. You were cute, Cam's thumb brushing the cool glass. I really want to be friends with that little girl. My chest tightens. That soft tone is a weapon. It digs straight under my ribs, threatening to expose the very real emotions I am trying so hard to bury. Shut up. I snatched the frame from her hands and slammed it face down on the vanity. I didn't call you over here to analyze my sad childhood. Are we going to focus on the actual session or not? Cam flinches, a flash of hurt crossing her dark eyes, before she covers it up with a lazy smirk. She steps closer, her hands sliding down to grip my hips, but my pulse is hammering too fast. I am losing control. I am catching feelings for my sworn enemy. I step backward, breaking her hold. We need rules, I announce, forcing myself to keep cool. If we are going to keep doing this, Cam crosses her arms, leaning against my doorframe. Let's hear them, dictator. Rule 1. The second you walk out that door, we are enemies. No soft glances in the cafeteria. Rule 2. No jealousy. I don't care who you flirt with, and you don't care who I talk to. Cam's jaw ticks. Fine. What else? Rule 3. The 15-minute rule. When we are done, you have exactly 15 minutes to get dressed and leave. No exceptions. No lingering. No pathetic cuddling in my bed. I swallow the lump in my throat, forcing the final boundary out. And rule 4, the most important one. No catching feelings. Cam stares at me. She sees right through my armor, reading the meanings hiding behind my rules. She doesn't argue, sealing our new contract by dragging me straight into bed.
But an hour later, the rush fades. Every part of my brain begs me to crawl back under the covers and let her stay the night. Instead, I force myself out of the mess of sheets, tie my silk robe tight, and point at the clock. "Are you kicking me out?" she asks, pulling her shirt over her head and stepping right back into my space. "Your 15 minutes are up." I point toward the door, hating myself for enforcing a rule I already regret. Cam laughs. "Whatever you say, Ice Queen." She agrees to the terms without another word, but right before she walks out, she grabs the lapels of my robe, pulling me down for a fierce kiss that tastes dangerously like a promise. That promise haunts me for weeks, mocking every pathetic rule I wrote to keep myself safe, especially the one about jealousy. I am losing my grip. The boundaries are blurring. Every time a random girl or guy even breathes in Cam's direction, a burning rage spikes in my chest. I need a break from her. I need distance. Instead, the universe decides to torture me with the university's mandatory annual wilderness survival retreat. Out of 200 students, the faculty manages to pair me with Cameron Davis. "Try not to bury each other in a shallow grave," Taylor whispers to me by the charter buses, while Mia shoots Cam a matching knowing grin across the parking lot. The woods are a miserable nightmare of dirt and humidity. My defense mechanism kicks in the second we drop our heavy packs at our isolated campsite. If I can't control my racing thoughts, I will control the dynamic. I slip on my oversized designer sunglasses, cross my arms, and refuse to lift a single manicured finger. I go full ice-cold socialite, acting like I am waiting for room service in the middle of a pine forest. Cam sighs, a deep, exasperated sound. She doesn't argue. She just rolls up the sleeves of her flannel and gets to work. I sit on a pristine log and watch her haul canvas, hammer metal stakes into the hard earth, and coax a fire out of damp kindling. She handles all the heavy lifting, her muscles flexing under her shirt as she wipes a streak of soot off her jaw. I stare at her, my pulse betraying me, terrified by how I want to burn my own rulebook. That desperate urge pushes me to blindly walk away from the fire. She follows me into the trees, and within 20 minutes, reality sets in. We are lost. Panic clouds my judgment. My boots slip on the loose mud of a steep ravine. Gravity pulls me toward the drop, but Cam lunges. She wraps her arms tight around my waist, hauling me flush against her chest and spinning us onto solid dirt just as her footing crumbles. A sickening crack echoes through the trees as she goes down. My heart drops. I scramble to my knees, grabbing her shoulder to help her up. "Cam?" She winces, shoving my hands away. "I'm fine." Terrified by how much my hands are shaking, I spat out. "Right, I bet you just want Chris to come track us down and save you anyway, huh?" She swats my hand away. "Don't touch me." "Stop being an idiot, Cam. It looks broken." I reach for her leg again. "I said don't!" The raw crack in her voice freezes me in place. Her chest heaves, and the hostility in her dark eyes isn't about soccer or our stupid fight anymore. It is something much older. "Don't play the hero, Victoria. You don't get to act like you care about me now." My pulse pounds in my ears. "What are you talking about?" A bitter laugh slips past her lips. "You really blocked it out. You didn't care in 5th grade, and you don't care now." My breath stops. 5th grade? I was your first friend, and then you threw me to the wolves. The world tilts on its axis. I stare at her face, looking past the fierce, athletic captain, finally recognizing the familiar, soft, dark eyes I buried in my memory. "Wait," my chest caving in as the horror takes over. You are Kath? You made them call me Katniss Ever-Eating. It carried with me throughout middle school. I had to change my name for you." The memory hits me like a physical blow. I remember my secret notebook. I remember the clumsy pencil sketches of the two of us holding hands. She was my first crush. And then, the horrific moment the mean girls snatched the notebook from my desk played in my head. Oh my God, the perfect Victoria likes a girl? And the fat loser too? The panic of a 10-year-old realizing she was about to be destroyed. I built my Ice Queen mask in that exact second. I lied to survive. Are you crazy? I drew it as a joke. She's gross. I bullied the only person I cared about to protect my own secret. My closet was built on her broken heart. I will take the truth of that crush to my grave. I refuse to confess the romantic part out loud. But the guilt is tearing me open. I drop to my knees in the dirt, my flawless facade shattering into a million pieces. I'm so sorry. I was scared. They were going to isolate me, and I was a coward. I am sorry, Cam. The hardened anger drains out of her eyes, leaving only a quiet, devastating sorrow. She doesn't yell. She just reaches out, pulling my shaking, crying mess of a body into her chest. I bury my face in her shoulder, and we cling to each other in the dark, the years of bitter hatred dissolving into the mud. That mud is still clinging to my bruised knees when a blinding beam of light cuts through the trees, snapping us apart. Cam! A frantic voice echoes through the dark. Chris bursts into the clearing, leading the search party like he is starring in his own tragic hero movie. His eyes drop to Cam's swollen ankle, and he rushes forward, dropping to his knees with a sickeningly sweet expression. Oh my God, Cam, I've got you, he coos, reaching out to scoop her into his arms. A scorching rage rips through my chest. Rule 2 of our secret arrangement screams in my head, no jealousy. I try to swallow the burning acid in my throat. I try to put the indifferent Ice Queen mask back on. But watching his hands slide around her waist makes my vision go red. The thought of him carrying her, touching her, acting like he has any right to save her makes my blood boil. Back off. I shove his shoulder hard, stepping squarely between them. You look like you struggle to lift a protein shaker, let alone a whole person. I'll carry her. Chris stares at me, his mouth gaping. Victoria, you can't be serious. You're just a girl. You hate dirt. You hate... I said, back the off. I crouch down in the dirt, turning my back to Cam. I grab her legs and haul her onto my back. She lets out a shocked gasp, her arms instinctively wrapping around my neck to keep from falling. Victoria, what are you doing? She whispers against my ear, her warm breath sending a shiver straight down my spine. You are hurt too. Heat floods my cheeks, burning all the way to my ears. Shut up! Just stay quiet so you weigh less. I push past the stunned search party, carrying the captain of Zeta Mu through the dark woods. Her chin rests on my shoulder. Her steady heartbeat thumps against my spine, matching the frantic rhythm of my own. I grip her tighter, my mind spinning in terrifying, beautiful circles. This damn contract. I bite my lower lip to keep it from trembling. I know the rules. I wrote them to protect myself. But with her weight anchored against my back, the brutal truth sinks in. I am way too far gone to keep faking it. Because as the edge of the forest breaks into the glowing lights of the campsite, I know our fragile secret is bleeding out into the open. The real war is only just beginning. And this time, the whole campus is going to watch us burn.